The garage smells like two-stroke oil and cold concrete. It is 6:47 in the morning and you are already awake, already moving, already more alive than you've been all week. The KTM 250 XCW sits in the center of the floor under a single yellow work light, and you circle it the way you always do before a ride. Checking the chain tension, squeezing the brake levers, running your thumb across the left grip where the black electrical tape covers a hairline crack in the rubber. You've been meaning to replace it for 2 months. You'll do it after today. The gas cap spins off in your hand and you tip the red plastic can until the tank takes 1.8 gallons. The fuel smell rising sharp and clean the way it always does. The way that means something is about to happen. Your helmet is on the workbench. White with a faded red stripe, a small chip on the left side of the chin guard from a low side 2 seasons ago on the creek crossing. You press your thumb into the chip. You don't think about it. It's just what you do. The house behind the garage is quiet in the way that has weight to it lately. Something happened this week. Something between your parents that filled the rooms with a silence you don't know how to name yet. You're not thinking about it right now. That's the whole point. That's why you're up at 6:47 on a Saturday with your boots already laced. That's why the Ridgeline Trail is already mapped in your head like a floor plan of somewhere you've lived your whole life. 9.3 miles. Mile marker 7 at the crest, 2,340 feet. The blind drop that falls 18 feet in the first 30 yards. You've hit it at 52 miles per hour before. Today you feel faster. Your phone buzzes on the workbench. You pick it up. Marco. The message preview reads, "Hey, call me before you," and then the screen goes dark. You hold it for a full 3 seconds. Marco is your closest friend and he doesn't text early unless something matters. The screen stays dark. You almost unlock it. Your thumb is right there. Instead, you pocket it, tell yourself you'll call him from the trailhead, and reach for your helmet. You will not call him from the trailhead. You will not call him at all. The truck ride to the trailhead takes 11 minutes on Route 9 out of Morganville, Nevada, the kind of town where the gas station closes at 8 and the diner has the same menu it had in 1987. The sky to the east is bone white going pale gold, the sun not fully up yet. The air at 51 degrees when you step out and lower the tailgate. The KTM drops to the dirt with a familiar thud, and you walk it to the trailhead marker, a brown wooden post with the number 1 burned into it. And in the moment before you kick it over, you stand there and breathe in the pine and the iron smell of the Orange Creek 0.8 miles in and the cool dark that still lives under the trees. You kick the starter. The engine catches, that high, thin, 2-stroke scream filling the trees, and you roll onto the trail. The first mile is hardpan and familiar corners. The creek crossing at 0.8 comes up fast and you hit it at 35 miles per hour, the rust-orange water fanning wide off both wheels, the cold spray catching your left forearm below the jersey sleeve. You've crossed this creek more than 200 times. Your body does it without consulting your brain. That's what years on a trail builds. A kind of knowledge that lives below thought, faster than thought, and that is both the most valuable thing you have and the thing that will fail to save you. By mile 2, the trail lifts slightly, threading through a corridor of ponderosa pines with bark the color of cinnamon. And the morning light comes in at a low angle and turns the dust you're kicking up into something golden behind you. Your hands are loose on the grips. Your breathing is even. The noise in your head, the weight of the quiet house, the week you can't explain, the thing you can't fix, is gone. It goes every time you're out here. This is the only place it goes. Around mile 4, something small shifts. You notice it the way you notice a sound that stops rather than one that starts. A vague wrongness in the texture of the trail. One section, maybe 30 feet of it, is softer than usual. Recently disturbed. You slow, look down, see tire tracks that aren't yours. Wide ones. A TV width or a utility vehicle. Probably trail maintenance from yesterday, you decide. You accelerate back through the gears. Your phone buzzes again in your pocket. You feel it through the jersey fabric against your hip. You do not stop. What you don't know, what you have no way of knowing, is that the tracks belong to Marco's older brother, Denny. Denny, who was out here at 6 this morning in his Polaris Ranger, dragging a downed lodgepole pine off the trail. A 70-foot ponderosa came down 2 weeks ago in a windstorm and landed across the upper section, and someone needed to move it before a rider hit it. Denny volunteered. Denny is the kind of person who volunteers. He's been riding these trails since before you were born, and last week, He watched a younger rider push way too fast through the upper approach to the ridgeline crest. A rider he recognized, a rider he's seen here before, a rider he was worried about. He moved the log to the section just before the crest, angled across the full trail width as a temporary block, just until he could get the Trail Association to put up a proper closure sign. Just for the morning. He texted Marco because Marco knows that rider. He told Marco to make sure that rider didn't go up to the crest today. Marco texted you at 6:31. He texted you again at 6:44. You pocketed your phone and drove to the trailhead. By mile 5, the trail opens into the long, straight away before the ridgeline climb, and your right hand finds the stop and the engine goes to full cry, 58 horsepower through a 250 cubic centimeter two-stroke, and the speedometer needle touches 54 as the crest comes into your sightline a quarter mile ahead. You shift your weight back. Your thumbs press into the grips, the right one clean, the left one finding the slight ridge of the electrical tape the way it always does. The front wheel lifts slightly over compression and then settles, tracking perfectly, and you feel the particular joy of a machine doing exactly what it's built to do with someone who knows exactly how to ask it. The pre-ridge rise at mile 6.5 crests and suddenly you have a view. The long, sweeping climb to mile marker 7. The sky above it pale blue and enormous. The trail a bright strip between dark pines. It looks clean. It looks exactly like it always has. You feel a surge of something that isn't quite adrenaline and isn't quite happiness, but lives between them, in that small region where your body and the terrain reach an agreement. This is where you belong. Not in the house with the weighted silence, not at school with its low ceilings and its fluorescent lights. Here, right here. What you cannot see from mile 6.5 is the blind side of the crest at mile 7. The geometry of the approach hides it completely. You've never been able to see it from here. You've never needed to. Behind you, at the trailhead parking lot, Marco's truck pulls in next to yours. He is already running. The climb steepens in the last 300 yards before the crest and the engine works harder, the pitch shifting, and you lean into it, your weight forward, your eyes fixed on the point where the trail meets the sky. In 40 seconds, you will leave the ground. In 41 seconds, you will understand what a half-second decision costs. Your left thumb presses into the electrical tape. Your right wrist rolls the throttle. The crest is right there. You hit it at 58 miles per hour. The bike launches. The front wheel rises and the familiar weightlessness fills your stomach. And for 0.6 seconds, you are in the air and every single thing is exactly right. You have been here before. This is the moment the whole morning built toward. This is why you didn't answer your phone. Then the drop reveals itself. In the shadow at the base of the crest, laid across the full 14-foot width of the trail at a slight angle, is the lodgepole pine, 12 inches in diameter. Bark still rough and dark brown, one broken branch pointing up like something trying to warn you. It sits in the shadow of the crest's drop zone, where the flat, late morning light loses all its texture, and you have been in the air for 0.6 seconds, and you have approximately 0.3 seconds before impact, and your hands are already moving. They move correctly. Your body does exactly what thousands of hours trained it to do. It is not enough. Not at this speed, not at this angle, not with 0.3 seconds and gravity already committed. Your front fork clips the log 7 inches from the left end. The impact redirects the bike 34 degrees to the left in a fraction of a second. You leave the bike at approximately 52 miles per hour, forward and left, your arms partially extended, no tuck possible, no time. The granite boulder at the trail's left edge is 11 feet away. It is roughly the size of a washing machine, pale gray, embedded in the soil at the tree line. Your helmet strikes it on the left side just above the temple at an angle that concentrates the force in the one place where the geometry is unsurvivable. The helmet does everything it was designed to do. It absorbs, it distributes. The impact is 40 milliseconds. You do not feel it. There is no darkness, no threshold, no sensation of ending. One moment your hands are moving and the trail is coming up, and the next moment there is simply nothing. The story that is yours stops mid-sentence. The KTM slides 34 feet down the trail and comes to rest against the log, engine still running, rear wheel still spinning against the dirt. That high, two-stroke scream now purposeless and strange in the quiet trees. The trail doesn't know. The pines stand exactly as they were. The pale blue sky above the crest is the same sky it was 41 seconds ago. Somewhere north of mile marker 9, a hawk crosses the ridge and disappears into the tree line. At mile marker 0.8, the rust-orange creek keeps running over its rocks the way it has for 10,000 years. And the cold water catches the morning light, and it is beautiful, and it doesn't care. Marco reaches mile marker 6 at a run, calling your name. Already certain the way you're certain about things you can't explain. He hears the engine before he sees the bike. He sees the bike before he sees you. He sees the log. He sees his brother's work gloves lying in the dirt 20 yards back where Denny dropped them when he ran for his truck to get cell service. He understands everything in the span of one breath. He sits down next to you in the dirt and puts one hand on your shoulder and makes the calls. Emergency services, then Denny, then your parents. And the thing that takes the longest is the call to Denny, because Denny answers immediately. And Denny already knows from the silence before Marco speaks. And there is nothing either of them can say that doesn't make it worse. Denny blocked that section of trail to protect you. He had watched you ride the week before, and he was worried about you specifically, and he moved a log across a trail on a Saturday morning because he wanted to make sure you didn't get hurt. The irony of it is not poetic. It is just the specific, unbearable shape of how the world actually works sometimes. Good intentions and bad timing assembling themselves in the dark into something no one would have chosen. You were an excellent rider. You knew that trail better than almost anyone. You were not reckless, not showing off, not making any of the obvious mistakes. You made one half-second choice, phone in pocket instead of phone in hand, and the rest was already set in motion before you woke up. That is the thing about the variables you can't control. They're not waiting for you to be careless. They're just waiting. Dirt biking gives you something that almost nothing else can. That specific silence in your head when the trail opens up and your body and the machine reach an agreement and the rest of the world falls away. Anyone who rides knows exactly what that feels like. Nobody who rides should stop. But the thing that makes you good out there, that deep trust in your own skill and your own rut of the terrain, it requires one check against it. The information you don't have, the call you didn't take, the text that ended mid-sentence. Ride hard, ride every chance you get. Just answer the phone first. Word count 2,491.